Hi, I'm Dallas Taylor, and this is Angela Wade. Today I'll be putting her through 4 assessments, testing her balance, her posture, her functional movement, and her upper extremities. You ready? All right, let's work. First assessment will be the posture, and the first part will be a static stand. So I will have Miss Wade tuck in her shirt, have her feet pointed forward towards the wall, head up nice and tall. I'll be taking pictures of her anterior, lateral, and posterior. I'll be looking for all the kinetic checkpoints from her feet, knees, LPC, shoulders, neck, and head. This will show me if she has any pronation in her feet, if her knees so happen to go in or out, as well as her weight distribution between her hips and her shoulders. The next part will be the dynamic assessment. I will have Ms. Wade do an overhead squat. So can we see the lateral view? We see it. I'll have Ms. Wade have her hands straight up in the air like so. Feet, knees, LPC pointed forward. And I'm gonna have her sink into a deep squat just like so. Go ahead, Ms. Wade. Just hold it. Here are the views of her interior, lateral, and posterior from a static checkpoint. I'm looking at all her kinetic checkpoints from her head, neck, shoulders, LPHC, knees, and feet and ankles. I didn't see too much out of the ordinary. Normal weight distribution, slight hip hike. Right is higher than the other. I wanted y'all to take a good look at her feet. Well, she ruptured her left Achilles. I wanted to show y'all a closer view just so y'all can see the pronation in her left compared to her right. It's probably due to a result of her injury and probably like a rehab afterwards. I'll keep note of this as I continue to go through these assessments. Here are the photos from the dynamic assessment on the overhead squat. This is the interior, the lateral, and the posterior. I wanted y'all to see her weight distribution. It's a slight hip hike on her right side. You can also see the pronation of her feet and how flat-footed she is. Next test will be a balance assessment. I will be testing your balance on one foot with your eyes closed. Then we're gonna make it more dynamic by juggling balls in between. And on the last part, I'm gonna add my own little twist to it. She will stand on a Busu ball on 2 feet. She'll start with her eyes closed. For the first set, she'll stand for 10 seconds. And the next set, I'll have her juggle these balls in between. Get down here. You ready? The first part of this assessment will start on 1 foot with her eyes closed, like so. Close your eyes. For 10 seconds, I'll be counting how many times her feet touches the floor, how many times her weight shifts or she loses balance. Go ahead, switch to the next foot. The left foot is also her injured foot, which is why you see her shaking a bit. She injured her Achilles in our last game of volleyball. Okay, that's good. Now, the next part of this assessment, we'll add these balls to juggle. She has to keep her balance on a stable surface while juggling these in between. And these are how I will score. If she keeps 3, she will score 3 points. If she keeps 2, she will score 2. If she loses 2, it'll be a 1. You ready? So take a step back so they can still see you. Kind of angle it a little bit if you can. All right, you got 10 catches. You ready? On 1 foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that was good. Next foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's good. The next phase of this, you will be juggling 3 balls. Go ahead, scoot back for us so we can see you. Yeah, bring that back. Her eyes are open and she will juggle these three, and she'll be scored the same as the last test. You ready?
What side am I starting on?
Whichever one you ready. Now we got 10 passes, okay? You keep these three, you score 3. You keep 2, you score 2. You down to 1, you have 1. You ready? All right, let's get it. It's harder when you're on the ground. Go ahead, throw it. 5. Hello, you good? Got it, so.
You've been doing it so many times.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next foot. Ready? 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh. Keep in mind, that's her injured foot. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. You can step down. The last part of this assessment will be using a Bosu ball. So I'll have Ms. Wade step up. And just there you go. You got it? The first set she will have her eyes closed. I'll have her sit down in the athletic stance. So go ahead and squat a little bit. There you go.
Do I keep my arms out?
Yeah.
Okay.
For 10 seconds, she will hold this stance. Every time she falls off the ball or her weight shifts, it will be a point. Halfway there. I'm also checking her kinetic checkpoints from her ankle, feet, knees, LPHC, shoulders, and neck and head. So far, she has a good posture. You go ahead and stop. Stand straight up. The next part of the assessment, we're gonna make it a little more challenging by adding these balls. There you go. The last part is this balance assessment. I will have her stand on the ball again. There you go. This time her eyes will be open and we'll be juggling these balls again. Again, if you can keep up with 3, you score 3, 2, and 1, you lose. So go ahead and sing it to a nice athletic stance. Now, since we're doing 1 set, we're going to 15. You ready? All right, let's get it. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good catch. I'll give her a 3 since I messed up. But you can step down this way. The next test will be the functioning movement assessment. I'll be using this FMS board and we'll be doing the hurdle step. The first step will be to measure a patella from the ground. So that will tell us the height of our hurdle. So step forward, please. So Ms. Wade's height from the ground to her patella will be about 40. Her patella is just right here under her knee. So once we put the band to the height of 40, make sure that size on 40. Next, I will have Ms. Wade stand directly behind the hurdle. And I will have her rise her right or left knee and go right over the hurdle just so. The goal is to not allow your hips to go out or in as she's going over the hurdle. And I want to bring it up and try to touch the ground with my heel. And she will repeat this step with her left and her right foot. You ready? I wanted y'all to see Angela's view from a posterior, lateral, and anterior view. That way you can see how her weight distributes when she goes over the hurdle. Her heel comes off the floor slightly, but she does a good job of keeping her shoulders and weight balanced. Her leg does go a little out just to get over the hurdle. It's probably due to lack of flexibility since she hasn't played the game in a while. She didn't struggle too much with her left compared to her right. They're pretty even as far as her balance. I didn't see any major impurities. She has good mobility in her ankles. So far, so good. As you can see a better view of how her hip slightly goes out just to get over the hurdle. But so far, I have nothing but good things to say about Ms. Wade. That was fun. You ready for the last one?
Yep.
The last test will be the upper extremities test. So I'll be testing her rotation, her flexion, and her abduction. So she will start against the wall like so. The shoulder rotation will have her start with a 90-degree angle of her arms against the wall. Her scapula is leaning against the wall. Her weight is putting on her shoulders. So she will rotate her arms like so, nice and slow and easy. And she will reach far back as she can. She can touch the wall, touch it. If not, I'm gonna measure how far her arms are against the wall. And she'll rotate a couple times like so. I'll be assessing if her lower back arches, if her shoulders elevate, or if her shoulders come off the wall as she rotates. The next test will be the flexion. She will have her arms to the side, thumbs pointing straight up. Weight on her scapulars, and she will rotate her arms straight up. I will see how far she can rise her arms up if her lower back arches, if her shoulder rises. This will show how flexible she is in her upper extremities. The last part will be the abduction. So you'll start with your arms straight out here. Same concept, scapulas against the wall, standing straight up. Just gonna go right, back, and forth. I'm looking to see if her scapulas rise off the wall, or if her shoulders elevate. And yeah, you ready? So start with the shoulder rotation.
On this last assessment, Ms. Angela will transition from a rotation, flexion, and an abduction test. This will show me how flexible and how mobile she is in her upper extremities. I'm looking for anything like shoulder elevation, lower back arches, how well she keeps her form. I'll be rotating so you can go from a lateral and anterior view as she transitions from exercise to exercise. I measured her hands right after we did this, the distance from the wall, and she was about between 10 to 8 centimeters about each arm. She didn't really struggle to have to make these movements. The biggest thing is to see how much does she use her body just to move her extremities. So enjoy. Now Miss Wade is transitioning to her flexion. With her arms right to her side, her thumbs pointing forward, she will rotate her arms straight up and down. I want to see how flexible she is. I want to see if her arms are able to reach all the way up and touch the wall as she is. I'm also looking for any shoulder elevation. So far, she's doing great. She's been a good sport. Slight shoulder elevation, no hip hike or shoulder distribution left or right. Now she transitioned to the abduction, which is the last part of the upper extremities. I'm looking to see if her scapulas come off the wall when her arms reach forward and if her lower back arches. Just a slight forward lean of the head, and her arc and her lower back has not changed. And that will complete the upper extremity assessment.
That's good, that's good. That'll be enough. And now we'll conclude our assessment today. How was it?
It was good.
What was your favorite part?
Juggling the balls.
What was your least favorite?
Balancing with my eyes closed.
I see. What was so hard for you?
Just my injured leg. I don't really have a good balance, so it was hard.
I say, did you notice the difference compared to when you was holding your balance with your eyes open and you juggling the balls compared to your eyes closed?
It's a major difference. It was harder on the unstable surface to balance and keep track of the balls too. So.
And you see how much you rely on your eyes just to keep your balance. Anything else? Any other notes for today? Did you enjoy the FMS, the hurdle strap?
Yeah, that was cool. I've never done that before, so.
Really shows your mobility in your hips and your flexibility as well. Well, thank you, Ms. Wade. That will conclude my assessment. Today we worked on our balance, our posture, that functional movement, and our upper extremities. See you again.